What's up, guys? Welcome back and Happy New Year. Hope you all had a great Christmas and holiday New Year. I ended up in New Hampshire seeing my folks in snowy New Hampshire for Christmas, which was great. And I'm now back home and have my sights set on the 700 for Eurotripper coming up in Fort Myers, Florida in only just under 4 weeks. So the last I left you guys off with the 700 was I did a new carburetor. Got that all hooked up, started the car, and had a misfire. Now, I wasn't sure if it had anything to do with the distributor to carburetor combination or if it was simply a spark issue. So I pulled a couple plugs. They were burnt badly, carboned up real bad. So I pulled my distributor cap. That had some carbon tracking in it. I did decide to replace all the ignition on the car. Since I saw you guys last, I do have some Bosch parts in. I got a Bosch distributor cap, rotor, Bosch plug wires, and I've got some new spark plugs that I'm going to do in the 700 in hopes that that sorts everything out. Now that I've got the old Solex out, got a new rebuilt carburetor in there. It's not a Solex that's in there now. As I mentioned in a previous episode, I really just wanted to get a carburetor in the car so it could just run and drive. The Wix filters here for the Corvair. I got an oil filter and 2 fuel filters. I haven't done that yet. That probably won't be this episode. Probably be another episode. I am in the process of setting my new welder up. There was some 220 power down at the laser shop end of the garage that I'm now moved into. And yesterday I spent some time getting 220 power routed back down here to the end of the shop that will ultimately be the metal fabrication side of the garage. So I've got this mounted. This is the receptacle that my welder takes. The receptacle that was down there was like the angled 3-prong old school 220 power outlets. So got that all hooked up. That's done. And gonna work on the 700 now. And hopefully, since it's supposed to be a little warm here in Chattanooga today and the sun's finally out, might be able to take this thing for a drive. So we'll see. Gonna get to it. All right, most of you guys who have been on the channel for a while know that this is a 1960 BMW 700 Sport Coupe, and it is now on a Volkswagen Beetle pan that my father and I shortened by over a foot, about 13 inches, to meet the wheelbase of the 700 body. So this has a 1500 single port H motor in it. This was a late 60s model Beetle motor. I've got a 90 amp alternator on it now so it can keep up when my air compressor's running. And like I said before, the thing was running like a sewing machine. The thing was perfect. When we first put the motor together, it had some low compression in one of the cylinders, but we were able to get the exhaust valve freed up and seem to get it running well. Well, I haven't done a compression test lately, so I'm not sure if that's dealing with some issues again, but I'm going to put all the new ignition in and see how it goes. If any of you guys watching have a Puma shroud, I will buy it from you. I was aggressively looking for a Puma shroud. That's the South American fan shroud for these single port motors. They sit super low in comparison to these shrouds. We didn't have clearance for this shroud, so we actually cut it and angled the top down a little bit, and I cut one of the main braces, notched it so that it would fit down over the both the shroud and the air filter. I did not want to cut a hole in this really sweet and rare 700 boot lid. But I do want to get a Puma shroud in here. I haven't really been searching lately because it's been on the back burner, but to clean the engine bay up, would love to get one of those. They're a little bit more square, low profile. They sit about as high as the top of the fan, so this has like an extra 2 or 3 inches that I really kind of need to get rid of. I'm super excited to be working with the Wheel Price guys again here in 2022. Wheel Price is a wheel classifieds app where you can buy and sell used wheels. Us automotive enthusiasts have kind of been missing a platform dedicated solely to listing and buying used wheels. We've got Facebook pages, group pages, Marketplace, Craigslist, and other online forums. But Wheel Price puts everything right on your mobile device. Searching for wheels is super easy since it's an enthusiast-based program. All the specs for the wheels are thought thoroughly through, whether or not it's the PCD, offsets, diameter, location. It's a great online social platform as well, because obviously if you don't want to pay to ship wheels or ship them yourself, you can communicate with sellers through the app to meet up in person for wheels. We all know with the new Venmo and Cash App IRS deals with taxing people for anything over $600, cash is definitely going to be king in the coming years. So that helps as well. I've put links in the description of this video where you can download the Wheel Price app for free on both iOS devices and Android devices. So your iPhone, iPad, any Android devices, it is free to get listing and looking for your new wheels today. Also, side note, in the coming episodes, I might be diving into the Dodge Diplomat, might be doing some suspension modifications, lowering it and putting it on wheels before I sell it. That car is a 5-on-1 14.3 PCD car. So I'm going to be browsing Wheel Price, looking for some wheels, potentially for that car. So if you have 114.3 wheels for sale, get on the Wheel Price app and get them listed. Talked about it before, but as you guys can probably see, we left the original BMW 700 battery box because it wasn't rotted and it was still solid. Underneath the car was completely rotted. It sat in the grass for 40 some odd years and there was nothing left of the undercarriage. But inside the engine bay, most everything structurally was super sound and not rusted. So the battery box here, we were able to retain. As you can see, it's real close to 3 and 4 on the driver's side of the motor, real close. But I wanted to do everything I could to keep that since a lawn and garden battery fit in there perfectly. And with this 90 amp alternator, it keeps it charged just fine. I do have to swap those out more than you would a car battery just because they don't have the lifetime that the car batteries do. But it fits perfect right in the factory battery box. But I really wanted to keep everything that I could that was original BMW on the car simply because the 700s are so rare. Because this was a 2-cylinder car originally from the factory. It's just a little opposed 2-cylinder air-cooled car or motor in here. There was plenty of space. So pretty cool that now that this motor's shoehorned in this tiny little engine compartment, we've been able to retain factory bracing and the battery box. All right, so everything's plugged in. New cap, new rotor, plug wires are in. All right, so I don't know if this battery has enough juice in it or not, but here we go. Nope. All right, battery charger is on. Let's give this one more go. All right, so it's still running pretty rough. I hope it's dealing with a stuck exhaust valve in cylinder number 1, if I remember which one was giving me low compression numbers when we first put the motor together. We were able to get that exhaust valve freed up, and it was showing good compression. What I think I'm gonna do is just put it all together, get the air system charged up, get it outside and actually drive it, and just see if that thing frees up. Next step is obviously to do a compression test, make sure all the cylinders are getting good compression. My points gap is pretty tight, so I need to adjust that. And when I adjust that, my timing will be out a smidgen as well. But it's a nice day out, it's getting warm, so shouldn't be too bad to go up and down the street with it. I haven't driven this thing in forever. All right, so we're out on the road and it doesn't seem to have any major skips or hesitations under throttle. It doesn't really want to idle. I'm hoping maybe that's just an air-fuel mixture on the carburetor. Doesn't seem to ping at all under load, so I don't know if it's a timing issue or not. All seems okay so far. Well, took it into town, raised the idle a little bit. Seems to be running better. In motion, the thing's running fine. The thing runs great. But I think it's still dealing with a timing issue maybe. It might be an air-fuel mixture. The air-cooled Volkswagen motors aren't my expertise. So when they're not running quite right, I don't really know exactly what's going on. So I'm gonna mess with my points. I'm gonna get my points gap right. Gonna get a timing light and make sure timing's right after I adjust my points gap. And yeah, and then probably do a compression test just to make sure. It is running better now than it was when I first started driving it. Gonna end the video there. Gonna continue tidying up some things on the car aesthetically, and like I said, in the engine compartment. Gotta tighten the belt up. Gotta take a few shims out to tighten that up a little bit more. And also gotta work on the truck. I've got some new front shocks coming for the F-250. Gonna pull that in here at least maybe this week or next week to tidy up some stuff on the truck. I think I'm gonna ultimately be hauling this in my 24-foot enclosed car trailer. I was gonna borrow a friend's trailer back a while ago, but I'm not sure if that's still available. I haven't hauled that trailer with the new OBS yet, so I'm eager to see how that thing does with that trailer behind it. Luckily, I won't have heavy payload like the Century, and it should do just fine. But it's about 10 hours down and 10 hours back from here in Chattanooga to Fort Myers. So looking forward to it. Happy that this is at least drivable. Thanks again, guys, for all of the support. Really appreciate everything. Hope to see you guys in the next episode where I continue to prep things for Fort Myers for Eurotripper 9.